Investigators say hill jumping was one of the main factors in a car crash last month that killed 3 Eleva-Strum students and injured 2 others.
Now, hill jumping is when a driver speeds up over hills trying to go airborne. They're hoping the crash serves as a warning to others about just how deadly it can be.
News 8's Pauline Lee joins us now with the latest.
Mike and Lisa, it was a tragedy that sent shockwaves through the Eleva-Strum school district. Now the school district, law enforcement officials, and the victims' families are taking steps to make sure no family has to go through the same tragedy again. Nearly a month after the crash that killed his grandson, Jerry Carpenter is still searching for answers.
Why? I still don't have why they did it. Why my grandson did this.
After weeks of reconstructing the crash, investigators shared their findings today. They say 14-year-old Austin Gable was driving the car, going 80 to 90 miles per hour down Walnut Road when he tried to jump a hill. That sent the car airborne for nearly 180 feet. Once it landed, the car spun out of control and rolled several times before eventually hitting a large tree. Austin Gable and 13-year-old McKenna Johnson were killed on impact. 15-year-old Marco Perez later died from his injuries. 13-year-old Ulysses Ponce and 16-year-old Felicia Bertrand were severely injured in the crash.
As a result, Gable's illegal operation of a vehicle, his speed, and his reckless and negligent driving are cited as the cause of this crash.
Now law enforcement officials are working to get the message out to try to put an end to hill jumping, a problem that's not new.
It's a proactive approach to a problem that's existed for a lot of years, but this one really draws a lot of light to it. We don't want to have to send EMS people and law enforcement and have families go through this again.
And they'll be working with the Eleva-Strum School District, where the teenagers went to school. It's an issue Superintendent Craig Semmingson has a personal connection to after his son lived through an almost identical crash nearly 10 years ago.
If there's anything positive that can come out of this is that the students will realize that their decisions not only affect them, but it affects their families and their friends at school and their teachers.
That way, no other families will have to say goodbye to their loved ones too soon.
You have no idea when you wake up in the morning if you're going to come back home. The last time I saw him, I gave him a hug and I told him I loved him, and I always will.
The car Austin Gable was driving belonged to Felicia Bertrand. Investigators say Bertrand had a history of letting minors as young as 12 years old drive recklessly in her car. The case has been forwarded to the Eau Claire County District Attorney's Office for review.
Thanks, Pauline. Now, law enforcement officials are still waiting for the toxicology reports to come back, but investigators don't believe drugs or alcohol were factors in the crash.